So today is part 2 of the Beatitudes. For those of you who were not here for part 1, I'll do a little recap. Because a lot of people have heard of the Beatitudes, but they don't know what they are. So I want you to know what they are. They're the first part of Jesus' Sermon on the Mount. He only said the Sermon on the Mount to his 12 disciples. There were lots of people wanting his time and attention, but he needed a break. So he went up to the mountain, he took his 12 disciples, and he did the Beatitudes first. The Beatitudes really were instructional to his disciples, how they should live their life, and how they should teach others to live their life, and how we should live our lives as well. The word beatitude comes from the Latin word beatus, which means blessed or happy. The Beatitudes are considered the supreme blessings because they came from Jesus. There are 8 of them, though some people say 9, but the 8th and 9th one have a lot to do with each other. They're very similar, but they're 2 sides to the same coin. So I'm going to think in terms of 8 right now. And I want you to think about globally, what do they mean? What do the Beatitudes mean? My conclusion is, after studying them from quite a bit now, that nobody really knows. A lot of people have opinions of them, but the thing is, they are only 9 statements in the Bible, just declarative statements, 1-sentence statements with no explanation. So lots of people have interpreted them over the years. And I've read a lot of those interpretations. And some of them I think, wow, yeah, that's good, that makes sense. And some of the interpretations make me think, you're kidding. That is really frightening. That is really bizarre. And they didn't make sense to me at all. So what you're hearing today is what made sense to me and what my conclusions are. Take what you like and leave the rest. Last month, I covered the first 4 Beatitudes. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. And blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. If you missed the sermon, you can look at it online now through our website. So today I'm going to be talking about the next 3 Beatitudes, because it seems that number 8 and 9 are so full they deserve a sermon of their own. So we're going to have that next month. Today, in the meantime, I want to look at 3 more of the instructions. The first one is, blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Now, mercy, according to the Webster Dictionary, mercy is compassion or forgiveness shown towards someone whom it is within your power to punish them or harm them. Google says, mercy is lenient or compassionate treatment toward another who has harmed you. To me, mercy reminds me of the sword fight in the movies. I don't know if you've seen those same movies that I have seen. It's always the same sword fight. 2 are fighting and one knocks the other one and the sword goes flying through the air out of reach, and the aggressor comes up and puts his sword right in the other's Adam's apple. Close enough to have eye contact. Close enough to realize our common humanness. It touches the aggressor. He lowers his sword and he lets the person go. Every time, every movie. Have you seen that? I've never seen him stab it through. No, he always says, I will give you mercy. And that's what mercy is. It's seeing the common humanness that we have with each other. It's seeing the common humanness when somebody has really messed up, and realizing I have really messed up sometimes too. But this beatitude is actually even more than that. It says, blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy. Now, I think that this means what comes around, what goes around comes around. What goes around comes around. Now, I'm not sure if those were the exact words of Jesus, what goes around comes around. But I do think that is what he meant. That was the lesson he was trying to tell us. He was saying, hey, you know what? There might be something to this karma thing that we learn in Hinduism and Buddhism. Karma is a spiritual principle of cause and effect. It says that a person's actions and intentions, the cause, will lead to future interactions for that person, the effect. Now, in Hinduism, karma crosses over lifetimes. If a person has an evil life this time on the planet, then their karma may come out in the next lifetime where they have to suffer. That it kind of balances all the suffering they caused in this lifetime. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. It's a belief system. It might be true. But I do know that I have observed that it matters how we treat other people. That it does seem that what we send out to people actually comes back to us. That if we approach people with love in our heart, with openness, honesty, kindness, they respond positively to that. But if we approach people with dishonesty, with disdain, with arrogance, that tends to come back too, a lot of resistance to us. So Jesus was saying, happy are those, blessed are those who are merciful and will show mercy to others. My question to you is, do you do that? Do you show mercy to your partner? Do you show mercy to people you work with? Do you show mercy to people that don't deserve it? Because I think Jesus was saying, you need to practice that. That's a good thing. There's a shortage of mercy in our world. The second beatitude is, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. First, let's look at that word righteousness. According to vocabulary.com, righteousness is a feeling or a way of life that is all about doing the right thing. Righteousness shows great concern for morals and ethics. I like that. Righteousness is a way of life that focuses on doing the right thing. They go on to say, as you can tell from seeing the word right, this is a word about taking a stand and doing the right thing. Trying to help the poor or oppressed people is a cause full of righteousness. Doing an unpopular thing that is ethical requires righteousness. People like Martin Luther King and Nelson Mandela definitely walked the path of righteousness. But I wonder, how do we know what the right thing is? Who gets to judge what is right and what is wrong? Well, I think it's you. I think it's an individual conclusion that we have to come to with ourselves. For me, I know when I feel like I'm doing something right, I feel peaceful inside. If I don't feel peaceful inside, I probably need to be looking at what I'm doing or saying, because it creates some angst inside of me. I've heard it said that if you are ethically looking at, should I be doing this or not? Is it ethical or not? You shouldn't be doing it. That's our rule of thumb as psychotherapists. If you're really having to question if this is ethical, it's not. Don't do it. Another thing we can use to tell what's right and what's not right is our UU principles. Our sixth principle says, we affirm and promote the goal of world community with peace and liberty and justice for all, every single person. In other words, anything that we do that promotes the goal of a world community where peace exists and liberty exists and justice exists for all, I think, is walking on the path of righteousness. I want to read a newspaper clipping to you that I have. It's from Best Bits and Pieces. In the days when an ice cream sundae cost much less, a 10-year-old boy entered a hotel coffee shop and sat at a table. A waitress came by, gave him a cup of water, and the boy asked, "Excuse me, how much is an ice cream sundae, please?" And the waitress said, 50 cents. He pulled out the coins from his pocket and he looked at the coins, put them back in his pocket, and he said, "Well, how much is a cup of just plain ice cream?" By now, people were waiting for tables, and the waitress is thinking, "Are you kidding me? I am not making any money on this table." 35 cents, she says brusquely. Takes his coins out again, puts them back in his pocket, and he says, "I will have a cup of plain ice cream, please." So she brings him the ice cream. She gives him his ticket to pay, leaves the bill, and walks away. The boy eats his ice cream. He goes to the cashier. He pays his bill, and he leaves the coffee shop. When the waitress comes back to her table and she's beginning to wipe it up, she swallows hard at what she sees. There, placed neatly beside the empty dish, were 2 nickels and 5 pennies, her tip. That is walking the path of righteousness. Being able to put yourself aside and care for another person. That little boy got it, what it means to do right in the world. In 12-step groups, when the question is asked, well, how do I know what's right? How do I know what's God's will for me? There's a simple answer. If you are bringing any harm to anybody, including yourself, then you're on the wrong path. That is not the path to righteousness. If you are bringing any harm to anybody. Conversely, if you're able to bring peace and joy and caring and support to another human being, you got it right. That's the path. But that's not all that this Beatitude says. Let's go back and look at it again. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. I want to look at those words, hunger and thirst. It doesn't say, blessed are the righteous. It says, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. Hungering and thirsting are verbs. They're action words. They're about doing something. Remember that story I told you about Socrates and the boy that wanted to learn? Socrates was at the ocean meditating, and a young lad came by and said, "Oh, Socrates, I would like to learn. Would you teach me?" Socrates opened his eyes and then went back to meditating. And the boy said, "Excuse me, I would like to learn. Can you teach me?" Socrates opened his eyes and looked at the boy, went back to meditating. By now the boy's angry. "Hey, I want to learn. Why won't you teach me?" Socrates jumps up, picks up the boys, walks into the water, goes deeper and deeper, and then puts the head of the boy under the water. The boy is kicking and thrashing. He finally lets him go. The boy comes up gasping for air. "Why did you do that?" Socrates said, "When you want to learn as badly as you wanted air, then I will teach you." He is saying you must hunger for knowledge, and then I will teach you. And that's what this Beatitude is saying too. We need to hunger for righteousness. We need to have a thirst for righteousness. There's a song out now, Poor Isaac. I wish India were here. She would probably know this song. It's a band by Airborne Toxic Event. It's an odd name for a band, but that is their name, Airborne Toxic Event. And the wonderful line is this: I don't know if there's a water. All I know is there's a thirst. We need that thirst, that hunger for righteousness. Because in the doing, the thirsting, the hungering, the working for righteousness, that's when we get filled. When we're actually involved in creating righteousness, that's when we have the feeling of fulfillment. That's what Jesus was trying to teach, I think. Are you hungering, thirsting for what's right for the world? Are you involved in your world, hungering for what is right in your world and your 6 feet of influence? Because we all get that much. Are you hungering and thirsting for it? Now, I know a lot of you signed up for an action group here. I do want you to know I have collated all of those. People are assigned to different action groups, and I will be getting with you soon. But if you did not fill out an action volunteer form, please do. I have extras, and I would like you to participate. I hope for you passion in your life, for something that you're hungering after in righteousness, in the name of righteousness. Because as far as I know, we only have one life here, or at least I know we have this life here. So we want to hunger, all of us, because I don't think we stand a chance at healing the world unless we all get on board. Now the third beatitude is, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. And I saw a lot of explanations for this one. The one that came up over and over again was, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God, means that you must have a complete 100% devotion to God, which requires to put to death all that is earthly in you. I don't think so. I don't believe that. I don't believe that we need to put to death all that is earthly in us. In fact, I believe the opposite, that we need to embrace all that is earthly in us. Because after all, we are here having an experience as a human being on the earth. And our experience as a human being is that we are imperfect. We can't get rid of that. We can't beat ourselves up for that. I think we get to the pure heart when we start accepting that. We start accepting all of who we are, even the earthliness. As one anonymous blogger said, if we say we have no sin, we deceive ourselves, and the truth is not in us. And to me, being pure of heart is the truth is in us. That we are actually living authentically. That we are walking in integrity. That we are telling ourselves the truth. That we are merely earthly human beings doing the best we can. And sometimes we don't get it right. I think that's how we get to the pure of heart, accepting reality. Because God, if there is a God, I believe, is everything. God is evolution. God is straight, gay, transgendered. God is happy, sad, angry, fearful, joyful. God is all of that. So for us to be pure of heart, living in personal integrity and honesty, then we can connect to all of ourselves and all that is. And then we experience God. We experience love. We experience the higher vibration that exists. we have an authentic life. I had a client yesterday who's definitely an alcoholic. He knows that he's an alcoholic. He drinks to excess on a regular basis and blacks out on a regular basis. He knows that he's addicted. And so I suggested that he could start working on that by going to AA. And then he said this remarkable statement to me. He balked and he said, "What? And blow my cover? I have a really good act, you know. I only drink at home. Nobody knows. Nobody knows the suffering that I'm feeling. Nobody knows what's in my heart. Because everybody thinks I've got it all together. If I go to AA, they'll know that I don't." And I said, yeah, you got to blow your cover. You got to be willing to say, this is who I am. This is all I know right now. This is the brokenness inside of me. And this is the wonderfulness inside of me as well. Yeah, we got to be willing to break our cover to get to the pure at heart and to really get to experience God or love. So in conclusion, I just want to review those 3 Beatitudes of how we should live. First, blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. May you remember to be merciful to the people in your life that you encounter that don't deserve it. Be careful how you treat others. Be lenient. Be compassionate, even to those who have harmed you. Second, blessed are those who hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Remember, righteousness is a way of life. It's how you live your life, where you're connected over and over and over again to doing the right thing as best as you can. Even small things that you do to promote universal global community where there is peace and liberty and justice for everyone. All those little things you do matter. 2 nickels and 5 pennies. It matters. And finally, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. May you live authentically. May you fully embrace the amazing person that you are, the flawed person that you are, the shadow self, and your light. May you come to peace, pure in your heart, knowing that is the human experience. And you are precious exactly the way you are. Blessed be, and amen. And now we're going to sing again. Thank you. Thank you. May the light of love surround you everywhere that you authentically show up. Blessed be.